Assalamu alaikum. Brothers, this is regarding an issue that happened with YUSUF ESTES live on air. I mean, it's on the internet regarding his position that he took on whether the Quran, the Mus'haf itself is created or uncreated. Obviously, we believe it's the uncreated word of Allah. And he's come live on TV and said that the Mus'haf itself is created, but the Quran is something that's memorized and read. Whereas if we weigh up his speech from like likes of Imam Lalikai, who said that the Quran is what is memorized, the book, the Mus'haf itself, and what is read. If we weigh up the two views that obviously Brother YUSUF ESTES had, and I mean the Imams and scholars of the past, is very contradicting. So, what would you advise the brothers and myself regarding YUSUF ESTES? Jazakallah khair.
I think we both should participate in this. First thing that I would say is the Quran is the kalam of Allah and it's not created. And in the past, it was a big issue, a mammoth issue that the people of the Sunnah took very seriously. And they didn't play around with it. And the people who said that it was created were looked at as being imams of innovation. Imams, problematic individuals, and he dealt with them as such. So in the aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah, whether you read the Quran, the Mus'haf, the Quran on the paper, the Quran is the kalam of Allah. وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ اسْتَجَارَكَ فَأَجِرْهُ حَتَّى يَسْمَعْ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ. If one of these mushrik people came and they ask you for protection, Ya Muhammad, give him protection so that he can hear the kalam of Allah. So when the Prophet reads him the kalam, the Quran, Allah called that recitation the kalam of Allah. So no doubt, let's make that clear. Unfortunately, with this particular brother who is a da'i and he has something to offer, inshallah, in what he does, he has something to offer. I think that the people who dealt with him, the way they dealt with him, it wasn't correct. And what you're saying, I'm not sure that is correct. From what I understood, he came off of some of those things when it was brought to his attention. He said, I was wrong. And I think that's how he is. If you were to contact him and say, listen, Sheikh Asim al-Hakim, if he knew about the problem, and he were to meet that man, because they met, they know each other. Hey, listen, that thing that you're saying is incorrect. I didn't know you were saying that. You shouldn't say that. My opinion of him is he going to say, Jazakallahu khair. I didn't know. So he's going to make mistakes along the way. So the question is, how do we deal with him? There are a group of people who, they fish for these types of things, and instead of giving the person the opportunity privately, even if he made that mistake openly, he could have come himself and say, look, I was advised and I made a mistake. So I think the way that he was dealt with in this issue, it wasn't the wisest way, and Allah knows best.
What Sheikh YUSUF said was wrong. There's no compromise. The thing that we have written, the thing that we recite, the thing that is in the preserved tablet, it is the kalam of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is not created. So there's no compromise. Sheikh YUSUF wrote to me 3 weeks ago. And he's saying me, Sheikh Asim, what do you think? I made a mistake. And he gave me a justification, said I was 36 hours without sleep, running from Egypt to this and that, and wallahi, he swears in his letter that I was torn into pieces from conference to lecture, from this and that. And when I said it, I made a mistake. I was not in my mind, and I have no excuse. So what to do? And I told him, you have to declare the truth. And I think he had done. I did not go through the, mashallah, the manifest of those brothers who accused him and cut and paste, and he did this and he said that, and he went 5 minutes for the toilet, then he came back and he continued to say this and say that. They have this power, they have this time to just pinpoint things at you, and where it hurts, they hit you. Okay, akhi, this guy is not a scholar. He never said, I'm a scholar. Did you ever hear Sheikh YUSUF saying he's a scholar? He's a da'i. He's a man who has some good in him. He wants to share it with everybody. And somewhere down the line, he may make mistakes. And that's why we come and correct him as a brother. but to expose him, and you know, it's a witch hunt, and to try to crucify him. And this is un-Islamic. Give him an advice, give him this and that. But at the end of the day, what he said was wrong. And also we have to realize that he's not a scholar, he's not a alim. So he may make mistakes. Look at the thing that he had given to Islam, and maybe Allah Azza wa Jal would forgive him any errors that he had done unintentionally. Allah knows best.
There's a deviant from the past, number of them. This guy's name is Jahm ibn Safwan. He was an imam of innovation. Some of the scholars said his aqeedah is aqeedah of kufr. The scholars of the past dealt with him harshly and toughly because he is an imam of kufr, innovation, hawa. So Imam Ahmed wrote a book against him, Al-Radd al-Jahmiyyah wa Zanadiqa. Imam Ahmed, in dealing with him, the way he dealt with him, because that man is an imam of disbelief and innovation. To treat YUSUF ESTES that way is not acceptable. To warn the people of him in that way is not acceptable. Something is wrong with the people who are growing and developing people to hate the Muslims and those who are giving efforts. And I tell you, if you had the time to sit to listen to what some of these people are saying, if you had that time and that niyat, you can fish a lot of things from those individuals. You're going to find a lot of things from those individuals. Crazy statements. Al-Imam Ahmed, Sheikh Rabi is like Al-Imam Ahmed today. No, come on. Don't have that ghulu like that. So we have to be balanced, and we have to be fair, and we have to be just. And these types of issues, I think it would be better that when they come out in the etiquette of asking questions and so forth and so on, we don't want to create confusion, more confusion. Just be balanced in these issues and accept the good for the good. And in closing this topic out, we're not going to sit here and say that that statement was okay in any shape, form, or fashion. From Usul of the Salafiyah is to believe that the Quran is the kalam of Allah Azza wa Jal. But I want to ask you, people, this is not to minimize his mistake. There's an ayat of the Quran that Allah Ta'ala talked about the maqam al-mahmud. Asa yab'athuka rabbuka maqam mahmuda. Allah will give you the exalted state Yawm al-Qiyamah. Some scholars said that's the shafa'ah, the ability for the big shafa'ah. That's authentic hadith. Other scholars said it's the maqam al-mahmud, the special place that is going to be for the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and only the Nabi. And we hope to be close to him in proximity. The great scholar of al-Islam from the Tabi'een, his name is Mujahid. He went over the Quran 13 times with Ibn Abbas. 13 times. Sufyan al-Thawri said, if the tafsir of Mujahid comes, take it. He said, I went over the Quran 13 times with Ibn Abbas. Every ayah, and I said, what about this? Said 13 times. Inside al-Bukhari. And Imam al-Bukhari does not rely on the tafsir of any tabi'i like he relies on Mujahid to prove points. Mujahid said that that ayat that I just mentioned to you, the meaning of that ayat is that Allah Azza wa Jal is going to sit the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam next to him on his arsh, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah will sit the Nabi next to him on the arsh. Scholars said, no, this is a mistake. Did they say that Mujahid is an imam of dalala and kufr and bid'ah? They didn't say that. And that imam who made that mistake, that serious position, YUSUF ESTES, is a revert to the religion of Islam, trying to do what he do. We have to put these issues in perspective. And we're not minimizing what he said, but he's not like some of the imams of disbelief and kufr and the imams of innovation. So relax and talk to the man. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to come down off of the mistake that he made.